Croeso friends, welcome back to Opus Elenae, where we take Halloween very seriously. This year, we went all out for Tornado's costume, Amity from the Owl House, and make everything from clothes to props. Not only that, we're also making some key items for the other half of this themed costume duo, Hunter. Amity Blight is a student witch at the prestigious Hexside School of Magic who has a delightful rivals to friends to with the show's main character. Her design looks relatively simple, but for the costume, we're going to have to either source or make a wig, elf ears, a tunic, leggings, a palisman staff, boots, and jewelry. Hunter's list is a little shorter since it's just a mask, pauldron, and palisman. The problem is, I have no idea how to make props. Grab your cuppa. Today, I am drinking Black Metallic from August Uncommon. It is a violet elderberry black tea that is super floral, a little sweet, and definitely witchy enough for this project. Let's get into this. Buckle up, croissants, this is a big build. I'm starting off with the thing I'm most familiar with, the tunic. It's going to be rectangularly constructed for a few different reasons. I've done it so many times that it's easy to pattern. It will be easy to use up leftover cuts of fabric with very little waste, and it'll be historically adequate enough for Tornado to wear to events in the future. As usual, I'm starting off by sewing the shoulder seam and adding the neckline facing. I needed to make a new neckline pattern since Tornado has grown, and this is a scoop neck instead of a keyhole. Since I want the facing to show on the outside, I'll sew it to the wrong side of the fabric. Then I can cut out the inside, clip the seam allowance, turn the facing to the right side, and fell it down with a running stitch. Once the neckline is finished, I can hem the pointed sleeves before adding them to the tunic. Then I will add the underarm gussets and the side gores, making sure the pointed hem is cut to the correct angle. I like to sew all of the seams before finishing them. In this case, I chose to serge them because of the inevitable time crunch. Then all there is left to do is the hem, which I absolutely didn't sew during a work meeting in the office. New skill number 1, wig styling. I was born with the "how hard could it be" gene, so I have a tendency to believe I can do literally anything given access to materials, tools, and YouTube tutorials. So I bought a cheap lavender wig, brown hair falls, and styling glue, stole Tornado's flat iron and hairdryer, and got to work. This wig doesn't have a lace front, and since the hair is tucked behind Amity's ears, I am going to attach the brown hair falls to the inside of the front of the wig to hide the edge of the base when it's pulled back. Then I will pull the fronts back and secure them with thread ties so the weight of the hair doesn't actually rest on the ears. I'll use B2B styling glue to make sure that everything will stay put. Seriously, this stuff is ridiculous. It doesn't move at all once you spray the hair and set it with a dryer. After I finish both sides, I can flip the ends of the wig outward with the flat iron set on the lowest heat. Once I curl a section outward, I'll hold the hair in place while I use the hairdryer on cool to set the curl. Then when the whole thing is done, I can hit it with the styling glue for extra insurance. Amity's bangs flip to one side, so I'm using the same technique to set them. Curl to one side with heat, hold the curl in place with pins instead of fingers, cool, blow dry, move on to the next section. After all of the bangs are curled and cooled, I can separate them into 3 sections and use the styling glue to set them in place, again holding them with pins until they're fully dry. New skill set number 2, EVA Foam. This is a closed cell foam that comes in sheets of different thicknesses and is used by cosplayers for everything from armor to prop making. Hunter wears 2 pieces of metallic armor, his mask, and a shoulder pauldron. I found patterns on Etsy for both items, and after printing them at different scales to make sure the fit was correct, I jumped into cutting the foam. The mask has 2 different cutting angles, a perpendicular 90-degree angle for the perimeter and eye slit, and an angled 45-degree cut for the seams between the pieces. It took a bit of practice to get this even close to right, and I still have room to improve. I'm using my Dremel flex shaft to smooth out the cuts and edges before gluing. This requires an incredibly delicate touch. Usually cosplayers use a contact cement to glue EVA together, but I couldn't get it quickly enough, and one of my viewers suggested hot glue as an alternative in a pinch. It ended up being a bit messier than I would have liked, but for a Halloween costume, it's perfectly fine. I used a primer before painting since I had gotten it for the Palisman staves, but if I had it to do again, I'd skip the primer and use something like Plastidip, which is a flexible rubber spray coating that seals and smooths foam surfaces. But again, Halloween costume. 1 coat of gold spray paint later, a night to dry and cure, and I'm ready to add the fastenings. A simple elastic band for the mask and a big safety pin for the pauldron. Amity's jewelry consists of a gold moon pendant with a purple circle, a crescent moon, and crescent moon clips on her shoes. I found a purple acrylic cabochon of the right size on Etsy, and Tornado used air dry clay to add the crescent moon to it. They also made 2 matching moon charms for their boots. I repurposed a couple of curtain clips into jewelry findings, using the hook for a necklace loop and attaching the clips to the boot charms to secure them to the laces. I did use E6000 glue to attach the findings, but I did it outside in the wind with a respirator on. PPE is super important. Tornado finished everything up by painting all of the clay gold off camera. Thank you to all of my current and continuing Ko-fi members. Your support and the support of all of my members and croissants makes it easier to do what I do and provide quality content for everyone. Thank you all so much. Stick around after this brief commercial break to see the palismans, my favorite part, and the bonus candy bags. New skill set number 3. 3D prints. This is actually where the whole build started. When Tornado said they wanted to be Amity, we knew that the talisman will be the most iconic, important part of the costume. Talismans are magical staves with an animal figure on them that can become animate and act as a familiar. Amity's is a white cat, and Hunter's first one is a cardinal. My very accommodating brother has a 3D printer and offered to print and send both of the familiars in time for Halloween. Once they came, I started off by using diluted wood filler to smooth out the print lines. I painted on 2 coats and sanded everything down to smoothness. Once that was done, I used 2 coats of an automotive primer to prep the talismans and then assembled them with super glue. I started off using the classic liquid formula, but I switched to gel, which actually held and filled better. After curing overnight, I spray painted them a solid base color, white for the cat and red for the cardinal. Then I taped off the familiars, one of which was a lot more involved than the other, and painted the wooden dowel staff portions. After that, Tornado took custody of them to paint all of the details before sealing everything with a couple coats of satin finish sealant. New skill number 4, heat transfer vinyl. It's not really a Halloween costume until I do something extremely extra, so I decided to make themed candy bags for the kids. I found a logo for Hexside High that I liked and altered it on my computer to be a 2-color design, making sure to mirror it. After a couple of trial pieces to get my silhouette settings correct, I cut 2 copies out of white HTV. Once the decals were cut, I used a sharp tool to weed the vinyl or remove all the extra material that isn't part of the design. I don't have a heat press, but my iron ended up working just fine. Basically, you heat up the fabric you're transferring the design to, in this case a couple of black canvas tote bags I snagged from my local big box craft store. Lay the HTV onto the fabric plastic side up, and then use the iron over a pressing cloth to transfer the vinyl to the item. After letting the bags cool down completely, I peeled the plastic film off the HTV. When it's all finished, it ends up feeling like a graphic tee decal. I hope you had as much fun as I did on this project. It was really neat to jump with both feet into an area of costuming, or 3, that I really haven't had a reason to do before now. I'm kind of in love with the AVS foam, and now I want to make all the props. I can't wait to try new things with it. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, share, and check out the Discord link in the description. Also, tell me about your favorite Halloween costume in the comments. I'm super excited to hear about them. Until next time, be kind, do the work, continue supporting marginalized people, and keep creating. Will.